Welcome back to Shergroup TV. Today we're going to look at how the power of smell can actually help prevent an active shooter incident, something that Claire Sandbrook, CEO of Shergroup, feels very passionate about.
Yes, I do.
Let's talk about the general situation out there, because we've seen it in the UK with Dunblane and scores of horrible incidents in the States, and you want to do something about it with the services that you're designing in the US right now.
Yes. Well, what I feel, John, really is that I came across vaporweight canines, vaporweight dogs, about 5 years ago when I was starting my business, security business in Florida. And I couldn't believe that something so simple as a dog could work for the US military in detecting landmines and other explosive devices. And what has happened is that the US military has been recalled from places like Iraq and Afghanistan, and that technology and approach is now being taken into the civilian world, and in the United States, vaporweight is now becoming a recognized way to detect explosives in various situations. And it seems to me that these tragedies that are happening in US schools and in other places in the world, not just in schools, but we want to talk about schools. This is a very sensitive way of introducing a security measure in what is a school with children. And therefore these animals are able to detect people coming into school with explosives, which of course are carried in the bullets of the guns that they want to set off.
Okay, now it might be a big step for a school to bring in a new innovation like this. Is there a way they can start to learn and improve standards and best practice for security to improve US schools? Yes.
Well, I think the first thing to say to Americans watching this and Americans involved in education is that we don't have all the answers, but we have some good ideas in Britain and we do see them implemented. And I think risk assessment is one of those ideas that you as an educator should be interested in. And I think what we've developed is a very high level 3-step plan, which will basically start to think about how you're going to stop an active shooter coming into school. So the first step is literally deter. How are you going to stop these people carrying weapons coming into a place of learning? There's no need to carry a weapon in school. How are you going to stop that? And we've put in some a 6-stage strategy with some ideas which are easy. Signage. No one comes onto school campus without a conversation about why they're there. My son is at school in America. You cannot get into his campus. You'll be stopped by security and checked for your parent badge. Practical things like that. Now again, many schools will be doing this already, but what we want to do is make it a series of measures that they follow.
The most effective ones.
The most effective, yes.
Okay, and then the second step that you would advise?
Well, again, we've got to try and find these individuals before they do any damage.
That's not easy, is it? Because they know that they're going to have a gun. They'll try and conceal it.
Yes.
What's your solution?
Well, vaporweight is part of the solution, which is that a vaporweight canine on patrol at a key point in the entry into an education establishment, whatever size and whatever age group, is going to be able to smell the explosives. I mean, for example, a vaporweight dog on patrol at an NFL football game, where you might have 60,000 people watching the football, one dog is going to be able to smell anyone carrying a gun. And the NFL are actually picking up this capability and deploying it across stadium, across the United States, because it's it's foolproof. The dog is trained to pick up on the weapons, the signature of the weapon coming from the explosive, the smell. So we really want to put anything in place which is going to find somebody carrying a weapon before they come into school. And unless they have a valid reason for carrying that weapon, then they don't come onto school property.
Okay, and the final stage in the strategy that Shergroup are putting forward?
Well, the final stage is, I just hope that schools and those that work and go to school don't ever need to use, but it is the evacuate or hide. It's the delay of an active shooter who has penetrated past school defences, really, and is now, in the school, in the corridor, in the play area, walking through classrooms and randomly firing a weapon.
Yeah.
And again, these are very, very sensitive issues, particularly for children who are frightened.
Yeah.
So again, the risk assessment is all about putting that in language that young people, I'm sure it's not just young people, but let's say because they're the most vulnerable, that young people can understand, and they are trained and drilled on what to do if one of these events occurs. Because this is not something that you just can wake up one morning and know what to do. It's like a fire drill.
Yeah.
And I think the children have got to be trained and drilled on where to go.
Yeah.
Where is the safe place?
Yeah.
How to lock the door, how to pull the blind down, how not to draw attention to themselves. And all of this very practical stuff has got to be vocalised.
Yeah.
And I just think that conversation is not really happening enough.
No, and it's stuff that could be very simple. It could be like turning your mobile phone to silent during a shooter incident. That could make sure you're not a target.
Absolutely. I mean, who wants to be the person in a room, that's sheltering from an active shooter and their phone goes off?
Yeah.
I mean, it's just. It's so horrific. Nobody wants to really think about it, do they? But it's if the children are trained and know what to do, they're probably the best teachers.
Yeah.
In a way.
Yeah. So where can people get this guide?
They can download it from our information that they'll find at the end or in this video, and we just want them to download it, digest it. And then talk to us about the bundles that we're promoting, which give them checklists on what to do, and then from there they can, if they don't know where to get the kind of risk assessment they need, we have all the experts lined up across the United States.
Yeah.
It's not centred on one particular state. This is a generic approach that will work for all schools. Risk assessment works for any type of institution, but it will be tailored to your particular site.
Yeah.
And therefore, we have the experts lined up, ready to go.
So, in an ideal world, not just download the guide, but get a proper survey and a roadmap designed custom to the school, the institution that you're trying to protect.
Yes, because I think, again, more so in the United States than the United Kingdom, but it's very easy to go out and buy security.
Yeah.
But what if it's not the right security for your school?
Yeah.
And what if you haven't got the right type of officers?
Yeah.
So it's not about buying security and saying, well, we can tick that box.
Yeah.
We want you to design your security that works for you and your school community.
Yeah. So it's not just technology, it's that old adage, people, systems and process, putting a holistic solution together.
Yeah.
And that's the best way to defend young lives.
And I do believe that the Vaporweight canine capability has a role to play, particularly in schools, because the dogs are Labradors. They're not threatening type dogs, they're not German Shepherds or Rottweilers.
Sure.
And therefore they can become part of the fabric of the school.
Yeah.
Without worrying the children. without the teachers being frightened.
Yeah.
They're gentle dogs.
Yeah, and the alternative doesn't exist. I know the US military have spent billions trying to replicate the sensitivity that dogs have towards.
Well, you know, it's
explosives.
an American homegrown service. I mean, it was developed by Auburn University in Alabama.
Yeah.
They are the leading researchers on this capability. I think the Americans should be very proud of what that capability is. I think it's a world-class service, and I'm sure it can be deployed in many places, not just in America, but throughout the world where anyone is trying to stop somebody carrying explosives.
Claire, that's wonderful. Thank you as always, some really good insight. So if you are looking at the security and safety of your school, have you got a plan? Have you got a roadmap? If not, then hit the button right now and you'll get a bundle of information that should help put you in a far better place. That's all from us at Shergroup TV, and myself and Claire. Bye for now.
Bye-bye.